Built by adversity, led by courage, Red Stick strong. What's going on, y'all? Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode Built by the Red Stick podcast. We come to you every Friday, presented by Elevate Treatment and Legacy Center. Shout out to our sponsors. We got Lifted and Fitness Nutrition. Y'all can find them on Facebook at Lifted and Fitness Nutrition. New year coming up. Go find them for great meal plans. Shout out Sidekick Shoe Boutique for all your shoe exclusive needs. Reach them at Side Space Kicks on Facebook or Side_Kicks BR on Instagram. And shout out Movements in Motion, a local dance studio here in Baton Rouge. If y'all need anything, you need little ones getting into dance, y'all reach out to them. You can find them on Movements in Motion. We are truly blessed to be gathered and joined by Miss Carren Comeaux. So me and Carren go back a long ways, almost 5 and some change years now.
Yep.
And Carren is the, what do you do at Regions?
I am the community liaison marketer.
Community liaison.
Yes.
Okay. For all y'all who don't know, Regions is a local behavioral health hospital here in Baton Rouge. They are doing great work. We utilize them at Elevate anytime we need detox, mental health evaluations. They also have a substance abuse IOP. If you need to get a loved one in a detox, reach out to Carren. Carren, give them your best contact info if they need to get somebody in.
All right. You can reach me on my cell phone. It's 225-503-9601.
And I promise you she will answer.
Absolutely.
She's crazy. She works all the time. So Carren makes her way to us from Morgan City, right? That's where she's born and raised, but she found her new life here in Baton Rouge. She's been around the Baton Rouge area. How long you been in Baton Rouge and surrounding areas?
Since 2014.
2014. So Red Stick's become home.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yes.
So just to give the viewers some little backstory about Carren and where Carren comes from and how she found her way to Baton Rouge and why she found her way into the recovery industry and community. Tell us about yourself. Like, what led you here, and how long this new life has been going on for you.
So, my life was quite unmanageable before I came to Baton Rouge. So I was constantly in and out of jail. My addiction was just running rapid. I started using at the age of 13. One thing leads to another, drop out of school, multiple relationships, multiple children, just dragging them through a lot of pain as well. So, I went to treatment multiple times, but I was always forced in it by the court systems, unfortunately. So I never took it seriously.
Right.
I knew I didn't want to keep living the way I was living, but I just didn't know how to get out of that rut, But on my last trip, I was in drug court 3 different times, unfortunately.
They knew her very well.
Yeah, quite well. I did 9 months in jail and thought that was going to fix me. But once I got out, it was still the same old thing. I was just still stuck in that rabbit hole, hanging out with the same people, doing the same things. So I ended up in Fairview Treatment Center for about the 6th time.
They knew her extremely well.
Yeah. And I mean, I had been going to AA meetings and I knew the 12 steps, I didn't even have to look at the little paper or on the wall. I can recite them right off the top of my mind. But it was something about that last treatment center. I was about a week and a half into it, and the fog was just now starting to kind of lift. And I was sitting in the big room during the AA meeting. And I mean, the only way I can explain it, it was like a spiritual experience.
Yes.
God just turned that flashlight on for me. And I looked up at the wall and I'm going through the steps and I was, oh my God, it's that easy. This whole time I've been complicating the crap out of these steps and I didn't want to do all that work. But it's that simple, just a little bit of work. So in that moment, I had some clarity,
Right.
you know. So I went to bed that night and I'm praying to God and asking God for guidance, you know, because I'm at the crossroads. Either I can go back to the broken relationship where I was getting choked out every night and using without my kids, or I had heard that Baton Rouge had amazing recovery. And so it was either or. So I prayed to God, and for the first time in my life, God spoke to me. Now, I'm not crazy. I didn't hear,
Right.
you know, but I felt him in my gut telling me that I needed to come to Baton Rouge, you know, and follow that path. And of course, I did it my own way. I'm an addict, you know.
Of course.
Got
Of course.
back out and went to that relationship and got beat up again.
Oh.
Got overdosed one more time, you know, and ended up going, I had ran from drug court, and so I showed up at court after about 3 weeks crying to the judge, begging him to help me. So he put me in jail for about a week, and once a bed came available over here at the Alliance House, I was transported in shackles and handcuffs in the little white van, you know, and dropped off at the Alliance House, and that's where my journey began.
Yeah.
At the Alliance House, I stayed for 6 months. I went to my first real AA meeting. I was in awe, you know, because I had constantly been in and out of AA, but I'd never seen, they just didn't have real recovery
Right.
down there. So whenever I came to Baton Rouge and I walk in this meeting, and I mean, they had like so many people, different ages, different races, you know, just junkies from off the street, and then they had lawyers and doctors, and I'm like, what is going on?
And that, you know, you speaking about the amount of different people that come to, you know, sobriety or recovery, and that's the beauty of it, right? It doesn't matter what walk of life. One of the big things that, you know, I know is a good passion of both of ours is to spread awareness of what addiction really is. It's not, you know, your homeless guy under the bridge with the brown paper bag. It's, like you said, lawyers, doctors, house moms, you know, young, old, black, white. It doesn't matter. It affects anybody and everybody. And so, you know, sobriety date is, if I'm correct, March 1st, 2016.
I'm human.
March 1st, 2016. And so since then, you've obviously recreated your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know I've known you for a while, so recently engaged, correct?
Yes.
Congratulations. Present mother in your kids' lives.
Oh, yes.
Even if it drives you crazy sometimes.
Completely crazy, but I love them.
And you have a career that you love and you excel at. So what brought you into the recovery industry, right? So you're working at Regions now, you're doing marketing. How long have you worked in recovery field?
So since 2016,
Okay.
Like I said, I'm human, so I did have a slip at a year sober twice. And so after that second slip, I had came back and stayed in the sober living home and got involved with the Grove.
Okay.
And that's where, you know, they hired me on as a receptionist, and I was just really good at helping people.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. And so you worked your way up, and now you're at Regions. And so what does your day look like, right? So, you know, what does a community liaison, a marketer, in the field of recovery do? Like, what? I guess the better question is why, right? Because you see so many people who get into recovery and they want to go into, you know, the recovery industry because they think that's what's going to be able to keep them sober. Newsflash, that's not what's going to be able to keep you sober. But you know, the people that do find their way, most of them do have a huge passion for helping. I know your passion for helping. What's the why? Like, why do you devote so much time? Why is your phone on 24/7? Why do you allow, you know, those calls to keep coming in and go above and beyond to get people in treatment?
Well, because like I said, I was that person, you know, that person that's reaching out to me for help. I was her, I was him, you know, at my completely lowest point in life. And I know for myself, if I would have had someone or known someone to call back whenever I was in that rut, maybe I would have gotten sober a long time ago.
Right.
You know, people reach out to me all the time, And if I can't accept them and get them in at Regions Behavioral Hospital, then I'm going to make sure I get them somewhere, you know.
It's, you know, our first episode, it was me and Ronnie, you know Ronnie. We talked about that, right? We talked about this because, I mean, if you're, especially in the marketing world of the treatments, you know sometimes that not everybody does what you do, right? If they can't get you into their facility. And so that's one of the beautiful things that I love about your passion is it doesn't matter, right? If you can't get into Regions, you'll get them into the Grove. If you can't get them into the Grove, you'll get them into Woodlake. If you can't get them into Woodlake, you get them into Baton Rouge Behavioral or Elevate, whatever they need, you're there to help them. And so I know that you got 2 teenagers now?
Yes, I have 2 adults and 2 teenagers.
Okay.
So I have 1 adult child that lives with me and helps pay the bills, and then I have 2 teenagers, one which is a daughter that's 15.
Okay.
Yes.
And how old is your youngest?
He is going to be 14 Monday.
14. Monday. Well,
Yes.
happy birthday. So I didn't really plan this, but I think it's important, especially with what we talked about with the no face, right? Addiction affecting anybody. You know, I can only imagine your kids have friends and high school and all that, man. And like I personally have noticed addiction falling younger and younger and younger. Like, what do you think leads to that?
I don't know. I mean, it's really scary because I know for me, I was doing drugs at a young age, but I was smoking marijuana or drinking alcohol. Might have took a hit of acid or something, you know. But I didn't get involved. You know, the meth and all that came later on. But the opiates is so bad right now. You know, the fentanyl, and these kids are getting their hands on it. You know, unfortunately, and I'll let you guys know, my daughter, I've had some issues with her. You know, she turned 15 in April, and she had her experience with smoking pot, drank a little alcohol, but they're doing these Roxys that are not Roxys, they're fentanyl. And she had one of her little friends took one and thought it was a real Roxy, and he overdosed, and he fought for his life for 4 days in ICU. And the scary part is that's the time my daughter went out and she tried it herself. And
so 14 or 15?
15.
15 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they're seeing, and like I said, she's seen her friend was in ICU fighting for his life, but yet she turned around and went and did it too. And
you know, I see it, you know, whether it's, you know, kids close to us or you hear about it on the news, it's younger and younger these kids are finding, you know, opiates. And I think, and I don't know what the solution is, right? I'm not sitting here talking about we have this great plan, but I don't think there's enough help for the younger generation. Not. You know, I mean, we have IOPs galore, we have residential treatments, we have detox centers for you know, 18 and older. And so how do we find the help for our youth? Because, I mean, that's the future. You know, and they're getting addicted earlier and earlier. And, you know, I'm sorry that you had to go through that. I'm glad that, you know, hopefully it's coming out on the better end. And
she is doing good right now.
Perfect. And so, you know, are you familiar with any adolescent programs that you could, you know, allow the community to know about?
So the unfortunate thing, you know, Tanya Stewart is amazing, and she offers an amazing adolescent program, but it's commercial insurance or private pay only. And if, you know, if y'all are like me, you know, my kids are still on Medicaid. So whenever it came time I want to send her off somewhere, CADA in Bossier City is the only option for teenagers who are struggling with substance abuse issues with Medicaid. But I did my research, you know, and they have Teen Challenge, but they're out of state. they call them Teen Challenge, but there's only a couple that take actual teenagers.
Wow.
It's really weird.
Wow.
But they're out there, you know. And then for girls, it's really limited.
Really?
You know, they have a lot more for boys than girls. But.
So if you know anybody in legislation, or if you know anybody that's got some pull, let's figure out a way to save these kids. Let's figure out a way, make some calls. Let's figure out what we can do. Reach out, because it's not as simple as just places open up. I know there's a lot of guidelines when it comes to children, but that's a great resource for Tanya. If y'all are, or your kids are battling, y'all reach out. You reach out to Carren, you reach out to myself. Mm-hmm. We'll figure out something. We'll call somebody. Another thing I wanted to kind of drift into, because it's one of my favorite things to talk about, is the new year, right? So I'm really like, I like the sobriety birthdays, and when you make a year on your sobriety birthday, that's really cool. But I've always found it intriguing, like, to make it through the new year, right? So to start your new year, and then just make it through a whole calendar year sober, right? And so I'm coming up on, I guess it would be, if I'm 5 years sober, I guess it would be my 4th consecutive calendar year, right? And so last week we talked about some of the things to do for Christmas, right? So as Christmas comes up, you're spending time with family. We talked about making a plan, bringing someone with you, hooking up with some guys and girls at your sober living house, and y'all, you know, doing Christmas together. Do you have any input on some plans and some things? Because of course the new year, right? There's a lot of partying. There's a lot that goes on during the new year. What do y'all see as some coping skills for the new year to make it through?
So pretty much what you just said. I know my first couple years in sobriety, they had the alkathons over at Club 12, and I know with COVID everything had kind of stopped, but they are putting them back on, and that's what I did my first couple of years.
Right.
Just hung out with people in the program, because unfortunately I wasn't able to see my kids. But if you could definitely, if you have kids, you know, just keep them close by you and spend time with them and other sober people. Definitely.
You know, we talk about it all the time, right? Like making sure that you're surrounded with a good support system, right? Making sure you have those friends that, you know, if you're not being able to see your family, if you're not being able to hang out with your kids, you can call on them, go hang out with them. And I think it's important. Me and Boston, who was on the show last week, we talked about the fun that we have in sobriety now. And I think that's a big thing that we need to talk about more, is that just because you get sober doesn't mean you're boring. I mean, is your life boring?
Not at all. That was my biggest fear whenever I was first getting sober. It's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to talk about? You know, I was so used to living a life of just chasing the money to get high, or chasing the dope to get high. But God, it is mind blowing. You come up here and you can actually do stuff and remember it the next day, or not be hungover the next day.
Which is a huge plus.
Yes.
Because nobody likes to. Because if you're hungover, what do you got to do to cure you being hungover? Drink again, right?
Yeah.
Don't do that. I'm just playing.
Exactly.
And so, you know, I think that's really cool. You know, and also, I know that Regions focuses, which is really cool, on the mental health aspect of it, right? You know, we talk about addiction a lot because, I mean, myself is in recovery, you're in recovery, but the mental health that's going on in the world is bad, and it's, you touched on a key point. COVID's not making it any better, right?
It's making it worse.
And so I know this is kind of, you know, when you went into Regions, that was kind of your first venture into really the mental health aspect. What have you found some of the mental health things going on in Baton Rouge? Is it, you know, just as bad as the addiction, or they what and what? Are they combined? Are they coming in together? What do you feel about that?
So, yeah, that was my biggest fear about taking the job at Regions, just because I thought it was so different, you know, the psych aspect. But it goes hand in hand. Most of the people that come in that are having a mental breakdown, usually they're on some type of substance, you know, or drinking a little too much alcohol. But definitely with the COVID and just all the lockdowns that were happening, and, you know,
employment issues, suicides going up, depression. all that. I mean, you can only sit in a room or a house or not have a job for so long before it's like, what am I doing, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I really appreciate you coming on, talking about the things going on. Like I told y'all, if y'all know anybody, right, like literally anybody, mom, dad, sister, daughter, son, brother, cousin, aunt, uncle, anybody suffering with mental health or addiction problems, y'all give Carren a call. I promise you she will get them in. We appreciate you coming on. Leave the community with one more word of inspiration about why Carren is Carren.
Oh, God. Put me on the spot.
Yes,
here.
I did. That's my job. That's my job as the host.
Why Carren is Carren? I mean, I'm just cool, you know? And I love helping people. So, no judgment ever on my part.
We all got to pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the beautiful thing is, you know, this is 3 for 3 that's just really been inspiring, right? We had Ronnie who came on, complete life turnaround. We had Boston come on, complete life turnaround, and you coming on. That is why this recovery and healing aspect, and you touched on it in the beginning, this spiritual program or this spiritual newfound life that we live is so beautiful. It restores mothers, it restores families, it creates just great people in the community that really help out. So once again, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. Give the people your number one more time in case they need to reach out to you. And remember, Carren is at Regions Behavioral Health. If y'all need anything, detox, mental health assessments, y'all give Carren a call.
And you can reach me at 225-503-9601 anytime of any day.
She will answer. She will answer. So look, once again, thank y'all for joining. Look, remember, if this is the first time you're listening, if you found us because you love Carren, which I'm hoping there'll be a lot of people that tune in because they do love Carren, y'all subscribe to the page, hit the like button, and look, leave a comment on what you want us to talk about. You know, we're willing to address anything Baton Rouge, anything recovery, anything on anything. We're built by the Red Stick. We love this city. We want to create a positive impact. Shout out to our sponsors, Elevate Treatment and Legacy Center. They allow us to host this every Friday. Lifted in Fitness Nutrition, like I said, New Year is coming up. If you want to get into shape, if you need that extra motivation, reach out to them. They have really, really good meal plans for a really good price. Movements in Motion, if you got a little one who wants to join dance this year, give them a call. And Sidekick Shoe Boutique for all your shoe needs. Thank y'all. We love y'all. Y'all have a good one.